What's up, guys? It's your boy Chrisless here. I'm recording in my car because I'm going to try to do something a little different this time around. I am going to see a movie in a few minutes. So for those that may or may not have came from my TikTok to here, probably not, since I don't think I ever linked my channel on my TikTok channel. I used to do these videos on TikTok where I do reactions to movies that I see in the theater. I'm gonna see if I can do these okay. If not, then, well, it's another video I gotta scrap, but hopefully not. Anyway, tonight's movie is going to be a film called Talk to Me. If you're a little confused, since this is technically an older movie, I think it's about 3 years old now, that's because A24 have been doing this thing where they have been showing their movies in the IMAX format once a month. I believe last month's was The Green Knight, but I missed that one because of Interstellar, which is honestly not really that bad of a reason to miss it. But other movies that were included in this series include Hereditary, Midsommar, Uncut Gems, The Witch, The Lighthouse. The list goes on and on. So for this month, they're doing Talk to Me, a horror movie that apparently was kind of an unexpected sleeper hit back when it came out. I remember seeing a trailer for it once, or like a poster or something, and it looked interesting, but I didn't watch it since I wasn't super into horror. And I do remember that after it came out and people had seen it, a lot of people watched it and they did not anticipate liking it as much as they did. But yeah, I don't really know much else about the movie other than that. The only thing I really know about Talk to Me is that it was a highlight for 2022, if that's the correct year I'm thinking of. A lot of people liked it. It's A24, and yeah, and it's playing tonight. I do know that I believe it's supposed to be getting a sequel sometime this year, I'm pretty sure, so that explains why they're showing this particular movie this year. I can't really say for certain when it's supposed to come out. I think it's supposed to be coming out in the summer, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that's about it. Next time you see me, it'll be maybe a few minutes from now with just me walking into the theater, or I'm already back in my car. We'll see. And we're walking. I'm not gonna record this for too long because it is bloody cold outside. This was my eyes the entire time watching it. Wow. That, wow. Yeah. Short answer, that was great. I will elaborate more on later. Okay, all right. I just got home. I'm going to talk about this movie while it's burned into my memory from what I just saw. So, yeah, I'm gonna let it rip. If this ends up being a review or whatever, then there we go. But yeah, I thought this movie was really good. I'm thoroughly reminded to not look up trailers or information about movies because I feel like my experience was enhanced from knowing as little as possible watching it. I will say though, it doesn't really do anything new or super groundbreaking. The concept of this spiritual, spectral entity that haunts people to the point where they can't tell what's real or not real, as well as driving them to kill until they eventually become a spirit themselves. I'm sure that's been done before in horror in the past, but I'm not a horror buff, so I'm not sure. But I feel like that definitely has been done before 2022, though. On top of that, I think the film had some continuity errors with like the editing that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. Other than that, though, the movie was solid. Like, I know I opened with some negative things about it, or maybe not necessarily negative, just something that is technical and something that the film can't help, but it's still really good. I have been watching my fill of horror movies over the last couple years or a few years or so, And that felt to me genuinely terrifying. Like I said, the concept isn't exactly new, but it felt refreshing and it was definitely well executed in so many ways. Cinematography was great, really dug the eerie and haunting and at times chest poundingly suspenseful score in the background. The acting was solid. It got done what it needed to get done, especially with our leading lady, Sophie Wilde. Thank you, Wikipedia. I needed that refresher real quick. Yeah, but yeah, especially with her just being a force of nature throughout the entire film. I think probably one of, if not my favorite moments in the film, though, was the very beginning where you had the one shot with the camera just following that character throughout the party to, I guess, get his brother out of the party before he stabs him and then himself. That was a really good, really cold opening to a horror movie. Funny enough, I think Smile 2, which is a movie that came out 2 years after this film, premiered at the Adelaide Film Festival, did roughly the same thing. And if I can be blunt, this is coming from someone that really hates it when people take a movie and say, wow, this is everything that X movie can't do or whatever. I say this as someone that hates it when other people do that. Talk to Me does with one movie, what Smile 2 is getting into the rhythm of doing in 2 movies with a roughly similar concept. But I think Talk to Me was more interesting because the fact that you have something that's physically there. Mind you, the creature in Smile, yes, it's kind of burned into their minds, and even if other people can't see it, it's there. But there's just something so tangible about a physical thing, even if it's a hand with writing on it, that you're actually curious about the origin of. Whereas with Smile, the entity just feels like it's always been there and always will be there. I dug the hell out of Talk to Me. I don't know if Talk to Me is on HBO Max's A24 collection, but if it is, and you haven't watched it yet and you love horror movies, definitely watch Talk to Me. It was great. It was fantastic. It makes me genuinely curious what exactly they're going to do with the sequel. Saying this as someone that didn't really care for the fact that Smile 2 was just Smile 1 but with a bigger budget, I actually would not mind if the sequel to Talk to Me was more of the same but better because, again, I think the concept and the execution was just leaps better than what Smile does. Again, I'm sorry for like bashing Smile in this review, but that's my legitimate thought process after finishing Talk to Me. I was like, wow, this is a similar concept, but just done better, and it just feels a lot more tangible and real. Plus, the story isn't only just main character versus self, or main character versus a spectral entity, and everyone just doesn't believe them or whatever. Mind you, there is a point to that about trauma and PTSD and all that. But with Talk to Me, the PTSD angle is there, but you have other people that saw the same exact thing as our main character did and know that this is a issue, this is a problem, and at least for a little while they confront it with her. Just all the little differences about Talk to Me versus Smile. They did come out around the same time, so it's difficult to say who copied who if either of them copied the other. But there's just something, the little differences in Talk to Me that it throws into the script and into the narrative that just make it so satisfying to watch. I genuinely loved this movie. I understand why so many people praised the hell out of it when it came out, I think in either 2022 or 2023. And I am very curious as to what the sequel is going to do when it comes out sometime this year. Oh, I also want to mention real quick the sound. The sound at points felt jarring, but I think that is because I was watching in IMAX. But I will say the jarringness of the sound was what really caught me off guard in a lot of ways. So maybe the sound is still like that in a standard viewing, but definitely amplified in an IMAX showing. It definitely added to the fear factor that the film presents for sure. Anyway, yeah, if you Talk to Me in IMAX like I did, what did you think of it? Is it your first time watching it? Is like me? Is it like the second, third, or fourth time you've seen it and you just now caught it in IMAX or whatever? And what did you think of it? Did you love Talk to Me, dislike it? What are your thoughts on this movie, and what are your thoughts on the Smile series, since somehow miraculously that ended up catching a stray in this video? I'm sorry. And that's about it, guys. I hope you're having a pleasant night and you enjoy this form of content I'm doing. This is your boy Chrysalis here, signing off.